Prabhu's body is spiritual, but demonic persons consider the body of the Supreme Personality to be material just like ours. Jananti Mam Mata. Persons who have no intelligence deride the transcendental form of the Lord as material. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. So, yeah, here the incarnation of Varadev has been told about, and from here, from the verse 2 to 8, right? He's criticizing, right? Demon Hiranyaksha is criticizing Lord Varaha, right? Here you can see he's calling the Varaha as a beast. Okay, so Prabhupada gives nice purport on this actually. So when a demons are when some maybe the atheists are they actually deride they actually deride the descent of the Lord. Okay, so though the Lord comes in the form of fish, boar, or tortoise, right? Whatever it may be. So here the Iranyaks also try to deride the form of Vara. Also, even not only that, even if the Lord comes in a human form, right? So that descent they do not consider actually, right? So this is what being explained nicely by the Prabhupada. So he gives the example also of Nityananda Prabhu. There are Nityananda Prabhu also, though his body was spiritual, some people did not consider that actually. So Prabhupada gives tell them that kind of persons are the fool actually. Avjananti Mam Buddha and all, right? Though the Lord appears in the form of fish, boar, tortoise, or even in the human form, they cannot understand the transcendental form of the Lord and all. They consider the form of the Lord to be more of a material, right? More kind of a material rather than so that is what being explained. But we can understand from the Bhagavad Gita, right? When we understand the birth, the appearance, the pastimes of the Lord, appearance of the Lord, activities of the Lord. Okay, the transcendental appearance, the appearance of the Lord and His activities. Okay, that can take us to back to Godhead and all. We can beat the cycle of birth and death and all. We can take it to back to Godhead and all. Okay, that is what we explained by the Prabhupada. Yeah. Yeah. Can we go to next verse? Probably. Can anyone of read 3.18.3? Third text translation. Hare Krishna, Shilpa Mata. Please read translation.
Yeah. Translation. The demon addressed the Lord, O best of the demigods, dressed in the form of a boar, just hear me. This earth is entrusted to us, the inhabitants of the lower regions, and you cannot take it from my presence and not be hurt by me. Purport. Sridhara Swami, commenting on this verse, states that although the demon wanted to deride the personality of Godhead in the form of a boar, actually he worshipped him in several words. For example, he addressed him as Vanagochara, which means one who is a resident of the forest. But another meaning of Vanagochara is one who lies on the water. Vishnu lies on the water, so the Supreme Personality of Godhead can be properly addressed in this way. The demon also addressed him as Mriga, indicating unintentionally that the Supreme Personality is sought after by great sages saintly persons, and transcendentalists. He also addressed him as Agnya. Sridhara Swami says that Jnana means knowledge, and there is no knowledge which is unknown to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Indirectly, therefore, the demon said that Vishnu knows everything. The demon addressed him as Sura Dhama. Sura means the demigods. The Adhama means Lord of all there is. He is the Lord of all the demigods. Therefore, he is the best of all demigods or gods. When the demon used the phrase in my presence, the implied meaning was in spite of my presence, you are completely able to take away the earth. Na swasti yasyasi. Unless you kindly take this earth from our custody, there can be no good fortune for us. Hare Krishna.
Correct. Thank you, Mataji. So yeah, here various kinds of criticism has been given. Vanagochara, but Sridhar Swami Acharya writes nicely. Actually, though it was a criticism kind of thing, but criticism, but he takes it as a indirect praise. Actually, indirect praise. The acharyas consider this as an indirect praise actually. So you can see that that here one of the word Gochara means actually the Vanagochara actually mean some other thing actually, but here as a residents of the forest, as a are the water actually. So it's something like an animal, right? But here, it also means actually the acharyas takes indirect praise, and the other meaning is Narayana who lies on the water. So like that. There are other examples like I think it is Mrigha, animal, right? So, but actually it means actually animal. But Acharya says one who sought after by the sages. So these are the various indirect plays. Though he tried to criticize, right? He tries to criticize with his words, but the acharyas take the same meaning, take this as an indirect praise actually. So indirect praise and all. So this all being explained nicely by the Srila Prabhupada, Sridhar Swami and the Srila Prabhupada. Yeah. Then we'll go on to the next one. Yeah, can somebody read the translation purport of fourth verse?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I will do that. Translation: You rascal, you have been nourished by our enemies to kill us, and you have killed some demons by. I can't see that, Prabhuji. Your screen is. Yeah, demons by remaining invisible. O fool, your power is only mystique. So today I shall enliven by kinsmen by killing you. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. The demon used the word Habavaya, which means for killing. Sridhar Swami comments that this killing means liberating, or in other words, killing the process of continued birth and death. The Lord kills the process of birth and death and keeps himself invisible. The activities of the Lord's internal potency are inconceivable. But by the slight exhibition of this potency, the Lord, by his grace, can deliver one from nescience. Susha means miseries. The miseries of material existence can be extinguished by the Lord by his internal potency, Yogamaya. In the Upanishads, Swatara Upanishad 6.8, it is stated, Parasaya Shaktir Vividhaiva Shriyate. The Lord is invisible to the eyes of common man. but his energies act in various ways. When demons are in adversity, they think that God is hiding himself and is working by his mystic potency. They think that if they can find God, they can kill him just by seeing him. Hiranyaksha, Prabhuji, can you scroll up?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, no problem. Prabhuji, you'll have to zoom out a bit, Prabhuji. I can't see it.
One second. How to zoom this actually? This is
I think it's good.
not PPT. No?
Hiranyaksha thought that way, and he challenged the Lord. You have done tremendous harm to our community, taking the part of the demigods, and you have killed our kinsmen in so many ways, always keeping yourself hidden. Now I see you face to face, and I'm not going to let you go. I shall kill you and save my kinsmen from your mystic misdeeds. Not only are demons always anxious to kill God with words and philosophy, but they think that if one is materially powerful, he can kill God with materially fatal weapons. Demons like Kamsa, Ravana, and Hiranyakashipu thought themselves powerful enough to kill even God. Demons cannot understand that God, by his multifarious potencies, can work so wonderfully that he can be present everywhere and still remain in his eternal abode, Goloka Vrindavan. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you. So here, Prabhupada is trying to explain nicely about the feelings of asuras actually, like Hiranyaksha, Ravana, Kamsa, and Hiranyakashipu and all. So here the killing, right? Killing of the demons, though the activity externally it seems to be like killing of the demon, but they are given given the spiritual destination, or awarding of liberation and all. So these things are happening actually, which is invisible, right? Which is invisible. As Lord is invisible, something this is happening. The spiritual destinations and the liberation, this all are invisible. That is what compared, and that is what is explained by the Prabhupada here. So here also, though the Lord being criticized with the words called rascal, right? Even his powers are termed to be a mystic, actually, as a mystic, right? His power is termed to be as mystic, rascal. So these are points of, and he's telling that the demon Hiranyaksha is trying that he will try to kill him. So this all the words of criticism have been used by this demon, right? But yeah, but still the Lord, even though when he fight with the demons and kill them, actually, he gives them the liberation of spiritual destination and all. So that is what. So even though they die, even though they get defeated, they become victorious actually, you know? And which is actually invisible for us, right? So that is what we explained nicely by the Prabhupada. Yeah, then can we go on to fifth text? Yeah, somebody can read the text, the translation perfectly.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Translation. The demon continued, when you fall dead with your skull smashed by the mace hurled by my arms, the demigods and sages who offer you oblation and sacrifice in devotional service will also automatically cease to exist like trees without roots. Purport. Demons are very much disturbed when devotees worship the Lord in the prescribed way recommended in the scriptures. In the Vedic scriptures, the neophyte devotees are advised to engage in 9 kinds of devotional service, such as to hear and chant the holy name of the Lord, the God, to remember Him always, to chant on the beats Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, to worship the Lord in the form of His deity incarnation in the temples, and to engage in various activities of Krishna consciousness to increase the number of godly persons for perfect peace in the world. Demons do not like such activity. They are always envious of God and his devotees. Their propaganda are not to worship in the temples or church, but simply to make material advancement for satisfaction of the sense in always current. The demon Hiranyaksha, upon seeing the Lord face to face, wanted to make a permanent solution by killing the personality of Godhead with his powerful mace. The example of an uprooted tree mentioned here by the demon is very significant. Devotees accept that God is the root of everything. Their example is that just as the stomach is the source of energy for all the limbs of the body, God is the original source of all energy manifested in the material and spiritual world. Therefore, as supplying food to the stomach is processed to satisfy all the limbs of the body, Krishna consciousness or developing love of Krishna in the sublime method of satisfying the source of all happiness. The demon wants to uproot the source because if the root, the God, were to be checked, the activities of the Lord and the devotees would automatically stop. The demon would very much satisfied by such a situation in society. Demons are always anxious to have a godless society for their sense gratification. According to Sridhar Swami, this verse means that when the demon would be deprived of his mace by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, not only the neophyte devotees but also the ancient sagacious devotees of the Lord would be very much satisfied. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji. Yeah. See, we can see the demons always trying to destroy, right? Destroy the temples. They want to destroy the temples or where Vedic education or scriptural education, scriptures has been read and all, right? And they want to destroy the devotees. Even they do not encourage people reading or following the scriptures and all. So these are the common things. Now also we can see all the politicians actually, right? So we are all the politicians doing this actually, right? They do all activities actually which are not good for the society, right? So not good for the society, and they even encourage. They do not encourage building up temples. They do not encourage reading scriptures and all. So this kind of demonic qualities we can see in today's time also in the politicians and all. So Radhesham Prabhuji nicely explains that earlier the Brahmanas used to choose the king, choose the king, not the praja, right? Now being a democracy, Srila Prabhupada said, democracy is human crazy, right? Democracy as a human crazy and all. So earlier in the Vedic times, the Brahmanas used to choose the king. King used to choose the ministers and all, right? So Praja was not involved because Praja sometimes Praja consists of all kind of people, the lower class and all, Shudra and all, right? So they do not know the wise decision. And for example, if the politician says that I'll start a the slaughterhouse, or I'll start the liquor shops, right? Sometimes they fall in the prey of material sense gratification, but but that is not actually essential for their spiritual growth or even the material aspects as well. So they try to they actually they take take as a temporary advantage, right? They take these all as sense gratification things and all, but yeah, this is what. So this demonic qualities we can see now also, right? Now also, so choosing a proper leader, the God consciousness leader is also important. Otherwise, they encourage material sense gratification and all. Okay. So yeah. Let's read. Let's go on. Yeah, can somebody read 6 probably?
Shall I read, Prabhuji?
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah. Although Lord was pained by the shaft-like abusive words of the demon, he bore the pain, but seeing that the earth on the end of his tusks was frightened, he rose out of the water, just as an elephant emerges with its uh, female companion when assailed by an alligator. Purport. The Mayavadi philosophers cannot understand that the Lord has feelings. The Lord is satisfied if someone offers him a nice prayer, and similarly, God is dissatisfied if someone uh, decries his existence or calls him ill names. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is described by the Mayavadis as philosophers who are almost demon. They say that God has no head, no form, no existence, and no legs, hands, or other bodily limbs. In other words, they say that he is dead or lame. All these misconceptions of the Supreme Lord are a source of dissatisfaction to him. He is never pleased with such atheistic descriptions. In this case, although Lord felt sorrow from piercing words of the demon, he delivered the earth for the satisfaction of the demigods who are ever his devotees. The conclusion is that God is an sa- sentient, sentient as we are. He is satisfied by our prayers and dissatisfied by our harsh words against him. In order to give protection to his devotees, he always ready to tolerate insulting words from the atheist. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, we can see that the Lord here, Varadev, is trying to tolerate the criticism of Hiranyaksha, and is trying to save the Bhumi, the Mother Earth, right? Mother Earth, and yeah, we have seen such kind of things also, right? Previously also, where Mother Earth was saved. We can see in Kunti Maharani prayers also, right? Kunti Maharani takes the reference of Mother Bhumi was saved earlier. In her prayers, she take the references of that where the Mother Earth was saved and all. So Lord always come to this world actually to actually to save the devotees, right? To save the devotees. So to give the protection based on the prayers and all. So here, not only the Prabhupada is giving nicely, not only the words, words of criticism, but if somebody says that the Lord has do not have any form also, that is also a kind of the criticism. That is what when whenever they say that there is no form to the Lord and all, so that also gives some kind of a dissatisfaction and all. So that is being explained here. Yeah. So yeah, we go on to 7th quickly. Yeah, to take 7 translation. The demon who had golden hair on his head and fearful tusk gave chase to the Lord while he was rising from the water. even as an alligator would chase an elephant. Roaring like thunder, he said, "Are you not ashamed of running away before a challenging adversary? There is nothing reapproachable for shameless creatures." But when the Lord was coming out of the water, taking the earth in his arms to deliver it, the devil derided him with insulting words. But the Lord did not care because he was very cautious of his duty. For the dutiful man, there is nothing to fear. Similarly, those who are powerful have no fear of derision or unkind words from the enemy. The Lord had nothing to fear from anyone, yet he is merciful to his enemy by neglecting him. Although apparently he fled from the challenge, it was just to protect the earth from calamity that he tolerated Hiranyak's deriding words. So we can see that he is just tolerating because he wants to protect Hiranyak and all. Yeah. So what else? Yeah. So he was actually tolerating because he wanted to perform the duty of protecting the Mother Earth and all. So we should also be beautiful. That is what the Prabhupada mentions here. So we can see in the previous verse also is called is criticizing. Actually, the devil is trying to criticize Lord, saying that it's shameful and all. Okay. So can anybody read 8, please?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Can I read?
Hare Krishna.
Sanjay Prabhuji, yeah. Can you please read this one as well, Prabhuji? Yeah.
The Lord placed the earth within his sight on the surface of the water and transferred to her his own energy in the form of the ability to float on the water. While the enemy stood looking on, Brahma, the creator of the universe, extolled the Lord, and the other demigods rained flowers on him. Purport. Those who are demons cannot understand how the personality of Godhead floated the earth on water, but to devotees of the Lord, this is not a very wonderful act. Not only the earth, but many, many millions of planets are floating in the air, and this floating power is endowed upon them by the Lord. There is no other possible explanation. There is no other possible explanation. The materialists can explain that the planets are floating by the law of gravitation, but the law of gravitation works under the control or direction of the Supreme Lord. That is the version of Bhagavad Gita, which confirms by the Lord's statement that behind the material laws or nature's laws and behind the growth, maintenance, production, and evolution of all the planetary systems, behind everything is the Lord's direction. The Lord's activities could be appreciated only by the demigods, headed by Brahma, and therefore, when they saw the uncommon prowess of the Lord in keeping the earth on the surface of the water, they showered flowers on him in appreciation of his transcendental activity. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. So this word text 8 actually more of the appreciation. Till 7 it's a criticism by Daman Hiranyaksha. This verse is more of appreciation to the Lord after lifting the Mother Earth or Bhumi from the ocean, from the bottom of the ocean. He lifted and tried to put on the surface of the ocean and all. After that, the demigods showered the flowers on the Lord Varahadev. So it's more kind of appreciation to him. But yeah, this activity, though the materials are scientists research, they they believe on law of gravitation, right? But even the law of gravitation has to depend on the on the directions of the Supreme Lord. So everything is actually in control of the Lord. So that is what I explained by the Prabhupada, and there are references from the Bhagavad Gita as well. So we'll quickly go on to 9. Yeah, can somebody read 9 also? Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah. The demon who had a wealth of ornaments, bangles, and beautiful golden armor on his body chased the Lord from behind with a great mace. The Lord tolerated his piercing ill words, but in order to reply to him, he expressed his terrible anger. Purport. The Lord could have chastised the demon immediately while the demon was uh, deriding the Lord with ill words, but the Lord tolerated him to please the demigods, to show that they should not be afraid of demons while discharging their duties. Therefore, his tolerance was displayed mainly to drive away the fear of demigods, who should know that the Lord is always present and to protect them. The demigods' dera- derision revelation of the Lord was just like a barking of dogs. The Lord did not care about it, since he was doing his own work in delivering the earth from the midst of water. Materialistic demons always pose a large amount of gold in various shapes, and they think that a large amount of gold, physical strength, and popularity can save them from the wrath of Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhu. So here also this statement is very, very nice. Actually, where the material persons, if they purchase gold, physical, all kinds of the properties and all, right, and they think themselves they are secured and all, right. They are secured, and the properties gives them the strength, and popularity and all. But yeah, the Prabhupada nicely writes that actually but that cannot save from the wrath of the Supreme Personality of God. So we can see the comparison with of Daman Iranyaks and this also, right? Iranyaks also had had taken lot of the gold from the Mother Earth, right? So a large amount of gold and all. So he was thinking he was materially powerful. Materially powerful and is popular and all, but that material position will not come to his rescue and all. Okay, so that is what actually written by Prabhupada. So here from the last verse we can see that now we can see the Lord is trying to give a reply for all the criticisms he had in the previous verse till 8. Lord is trying to give the reply and all. That's why from the previous verse we can see, and here it is Sri Bhagavan Vacha. So from here it's Bhagavan is trying to the Lord is trying to reply for his criticism and all. So I'll read this 14, and somebody can take from the next and all. Yeah, I'll read the text 10. Yeah, the personality of Godhead said, indeed we are the creatures of the jungle, and we are searching after hunting dogs like you. One who is free from the entanglement of death, has no fear from the loose talk in which you are indulging, for you are the bound up by the laws of the death. Okay. But demons and atheistic persons can go on insulting the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but they forget that they are subjected to the laws of birth and death. They think that simply by decrying the existence of the Supreme Lord or defying his stringent laws of nature, one can be freed from clutches of birth and death. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is said that simply by understanding the transcendental nature of the God, one can go back home wagon. But demons and atheistic persons do not try to understand the nature of the Supreme Lord. Okay, therefore they remain in entanglement of birth and death. Okay. So here Prabhupada is talking about so entanglement of death. So the Lord do not have any entanglement, right? So he's above, he's transcendental nature and all, and so he does not fear from, he does not have any fear actually from the whatever they talk or the criticism he had from the demon, demon and all. So now the Lord's turn. Now Lord is saying even acts as a dog and all. Okay. So yeah. So here we can see that simply by understanding the transcendental nature of the God, one can go back to Godhead. So this refers to Dharma Karma Divyam Yovam Iti Vetrita Tattva Deham Punarjanma. That verse actually, if we know about the birth, about the appearance, about the transcendental activities of God, the transcendental activities, transcendental nature of the God, then there will not be any birth and all. So that is what is explained here by the Prabhupada. Yeah, can somebody read 11th verse, 11th text? So this whole chapter is straightforward and a small chapter. With the interest of the time, we would like to complete. There are only 28 verses, and let's see. We can. Yes, you can quickly read the translation and purpose.
Certainly, we have stolen the charge of the inhabitants of Satala and have lost all shame. Although bitten by your powerful mace,
Certainly have stolen the charge of the inhabitants of Rasatala and have lost all shame.
You are reading Mataji?
Although create no place to go. The purport. The demon should have known that God cannot be driven out of any place, for he is all pervading. Demons think of their possessions as their property, but actually everything belongs to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who can take anything at any time he likes. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji, for reading. Yeah, the demons do not know that the Lord is everywhere. Actually, that's why he tried to find out. Right, he had to find out from Narada where is the Lord, and he wanted to fight and all. But everywhere the Lord is pervading everywhere. Okay, in the everywhere and all. Though invisible, though we cannot see, but Lord is pervading everywhere. But yeah, here the demons are thinking that everything is a possession, right? So this demon is thinking whole bhumi, he has conquered with this strength. And all the possession or the property are everything belongs to him, right? And to indulge for his sense gratification and all. But everything belongs to Lord and all. That is explained here. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Mataji. Yeah, Sanjay Prabhuji, you can read 12. Sorry. Sanjay Prabhuji?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Praveen Prabhuji. Yeah. Can you, are you in a position to read?
Yes, I think Sanjay Prabhu dropped off. Oh, he came back again.
Okay.
Hare Krishna, sorry, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, I think both of you read. Can you read 12, Prabhuji? Otherwise, yeah.
Yeah, Prabhuji. You are supposed to be the commander of many foot soldiers, and now you may take prompt steps to overthrow us. Give up all your foolish talk and wipe out the cares of your kids and kin by slaying us. One may be proud, yet he does not deserve a seat in an assembly if he fails to fulfill his promised word. Purport. A demon may be a great soldier and commander of a large number of infantry, but in the presence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is powerless and is destined to die. The Lord therefore challenged the demon not to go away, but to fulfill his promised word to kill him. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Lord. Yes. So he had intention to kill, so he has come to fight and kill, right? So here the Lord is saying, you have challenged me to kill, you can kill. But if you don't kill, you will be humiliated because you are a commander of the foot soldier, as a king. Essentially, is a king and is a commander of the soldiers. So if he doesn't, if he throw up some challenge, and if he cannot win over him, then he will not have any. So he will not have any respect, right? So all his pride will be taken away. That is what is being said. Yeah. Can we move on to 13? Yeah, Praveen, can you read if you are in a position to read?
Okay, Prabhuji. Translation. Sri Maitreya said, the demons being thus challenged by the personality of Godhead became angry and agitated, and he trembled in anger like a challenged cobra. Purport. A cobra is very fierce before ordinary person, but before an enchanter who can play with him, he is who is a plaything. Similarly, a demon may be very powerful in his own domain, but before the Lord he is insignificant. The demons Ravana was a fierce figure before the demigods, but when he was before Lord Ramchandra, he trembled and prayed to his deity, Lord Shiva, but to no avail. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu. So here the conversation between the Maitreya and Vidura is happening, we all know. So yeah, the demon challenged by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he reacted very angrily and agitated. Here as a cobra. So what gives example of cobra and all, right? That which is angry and agitated and all. Yeah. Can you read for 14th also? Probably can you read quickly 14? Praveen Prabhu?
Okay, Prabhuji. Translation. Hissing in, 1 minute. Hissing in gently, all his senses shaken by wrath, the demon quickly sprang upon the Lord and dealt below with his powerful mace.
Right. So so they are trying to fight. So this all the fight between the Lord and the demon started. That the fighting has been explained here from all these verses and all. Yeah, can anybody read 15 probably? Translation.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah, translation. Yeah, translation. The Lord, however, by moving slightly aside, dodged the violent mace blow aimed at his best by the enemy, just as an accomplished yogi would elude death. Purport. This example is given herein that the perfect yogi can overcome a death blow, although it is offered by the laws of nature. It is useless for a demon to beat the transcendental body of the Lord with a powerful mace, for no one can surpass his prowess. Those who are advanced transcendentalists are freed from the laws of nature, and even a death blow cannot act on them. Superficially, it may be seen that a yogi is attacked by a death blow, but by the grace of the Lord, he can overcome many such attacks for the service of the Lord. As the Lord exists by his own independent prowess, by the grace of the Lord, the devotees also exist for his service. Hare Krishna.
Very nice purport actually. Yeah, here the Lord body is compared as transcendental. So even though he is eating the demon Hiranyaksha eating with his mace actually. So since it is a transcendental body, even if he is eating by powerful mace, so it doesn't get affected because the body itself is a transcendental. So it's not, it doesn't have any life and life is not involved with this life and death and all, right? So this and example of a great yogi also is not feared by death, that has been given. So yeah, nice. But yeah, can you read 16? Somebody read 16
Hare
text?
Krishna, Prabhuji. Can I read?
Yeah, yes. Ma'am.
Translation. The personality of the Godhead now exhibited his anger and rushed to meet the demon, who bit his lip in rage, took up his mace again, and began to repeatedly brandish it about.
Yeah, thank you, Madam. Can you read the next one also, Madam? It was small one.
Then with his mace, the Lord struck the enemy on the right of his brow. But since the demon was expert in fighting, O gentle Vidura, he protected himself by a maneuver of his own mace.
So this all description about the fighting between the Lord and the demon. So now one is trying to hit by the mace, one is trying to maneuver or move here and there and try to protect themselves. Though they are trying to protect themselves, there is lot of blood coming from their body and all that will be explained in the next coming verses and all. So the blood is coming out of the body. They can smell the blood. They are eating against each other. Trying to see. So Lord Varaha is trying to play with this demon Iranax and all. So they are fighting and hitting with powerful bases and all. They are trying to protect themselves with the base with their bases, trying to move here and there. So these all the fighting scenes have been explained in all this translation. Yeah, can you do 18th also, Martin? You are doing very small and all. Yeah, can you read 18 also, Mansa Martin?
Sure, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. In this way, the demon Haryaksha and the Lord, the personality of the Godhead, struck each other with their huge maces, each engaged and seeking his own victory. Purport. Hiranyaksha is another name of Haryaksha is another name of Hiranyaksha, the demon.
Yes, Prabhupada gives the Harayak also is also name of the Harayak. Yes. Yeah, can somebody read 19?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I'm ready.
Yes, Vandamatas, thank you. Please read the translation.
Trans- Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. There was keen rivalry between the two combatants. Both had sustained injuries on their bodies from the blows of each other's pointed maces, and each grew more and more enraged at the smell of blood on his person. In their eagerness to win, they performed maneuvers of various kinds, and their contest looked like an encounter between two forceful bulls for the sake of a cow. Purport. Here the earth planet is called Ila. This earth was formerly known as uh, Ilavrita Varsha, and when Maharaja Parikshit ruled the earth, it was called Bharata Varsha. Actually, Bharata Varsha is a name for the entire planet, but gradually Bharata Varsha has come to mean India. As India has recently been divided into Pakistan and Hindustan, similarly, the earth was formerly called Ilavarta Varsha, but gradually as time passed, it was divided by national boundaries.
Yes, thank you, Madam. So we have discussed already. So they are trying to hit each other with powerful, strong maces and all. and the blood is coming out of the body and all the smell. They are trying to protect each other with moving here and there. So here example of two bulls fighting for a cow, right? Being given actually. So cow, actually this example is given because Bhumi is considered to be as a cow. So cow and bulls actually fight for the cow and all. Bhumi is compared to the cow and all. So that's why this example has been given. Yeah. Can somebody read 20th Prabhuji? Hare Krishna. Translation. Translation and perfect.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Shall I read?
Yes, Prabhuji, please.
Translation. O descendant of Guru, Brahma, the most independent demigod of the universe, accompanied by his followers, came to see the terrible fight for the sake of the world between the demon and the personality of Godhead, who appeared in the form of a boar. Purport. The fight between the Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the demon is compared to a fight between bulls for the sake of cow. The earth planet is also called go or cow, as bulls fight between themselves to ascertain who will have union with the cow. There is always a constant fight between the demons and the Supreme Lord, or his representative for supremacy over the earth. Here, the Lord is significantly described as Yagyabhava, Yagyabhavya. One should not consider the Lord to have the body of an ordinary boar. He can assume any form, and he possesses all such forms eternally. It is from him that all other forms have emanated. This boar form is not to be considered the form of an ordinary hog. His body is actually full of yagya, or worshipful offerings. Yajna sacrifice are offered to Vishnu. Yajna means the body of Vishnu. His body is not material, therefore he should not to be taken to be an ordinary boar. Brahma is described in this verse as Sarvajit, Swarat. Actually, full independence is exclusive to the Lord himself, but as part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, every living entity has minute quantity of independence. Each and every one of the living entities within this universe has this minute independence. But Brahma, being the chief of all living entity, has a greater potential of independence than any other. He is the representative of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and has been assigned to preside over universal affairs. All other demigods work for him. Therefore, he is described here as Swarat. He is always accompanied by great sages and transcendentalists, all of whom came to see the bullfight between the demon and the Lord. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you. Here one question, Prabhuji. Why, O descendant of Kuru, why has come, Kuru has come here? Anybody can answer? What does it mean? Anybody on the call? Sir, this O descendant of Kuru, Brahma, the most independent demigod of universe, accompanied by his followers, came to see the terrible fight. So fight is happening between the Lord Vara and Hiranyaksh. So so Brahma, along with all the followers, he came to watch this fight actually. So between the demon and the Lord in the form of boar and Vara there. So why anybody can answer why descendant of Kuru?
Prabhuji, is it represent to Prakshit Maharaj?
No, yeah, no, Prabhuji, yeah, it's actually the discussion between the Maitreya Muni and Vidura, right? So Maitreya Muni is telling his pastimes to Vidura, right? This whole third canto is about that, right? Right. So that's why here the Kuru is Vidura belongs to Kurus, right? So that is why. So
Oh,
he's trying to tell this story to Vidura, right? So that is why. Okay. Okay. So we have already discussed go is compared to the cow. So these cows, the bulls are fighting for a cow, right? So that is what being explained here. And yeah, the body, what else? Yes. So about the Swaraj Swarup of Lord and Brahma. So every living entity has some kind of independence. So, right. So yeah. So devotees will have a lot of independence actually. So Brahma being the great devotee of the Lord, all the demigods being the great devotee of the Lord, they have much independence than all of than they and our than ours actually, than all the living entities and all. So when we are when we are a devotee and when we are what we can when we follow the instructions of the Lord and when we are what we say when we are obedient to the Lord actually. We will have the greater independence and all. So Lord gives lot of independence. Like Prabhupada gives the example, right? Example of a cow, right? If cow is naughty, it will be tied to the hook, right? Well, when the cow is not is actually polite, it's behaving well actually. So these not tied to the hook and all. So the basing upon the basing upon the nature, the independence is given. So we have to see that Brahma is given lot of independence because he is a devotee of the Lord. He can understand. He can understand why this what the purpose of independence, and he can he can use this independence in service of the Lord. So that's why the devotees will have the greater independence and all, right? That we can understand from this purpose and all. Yeah. So 21 quickly we have to read next 7 or 8. Yeah. Can anybody quickly read 21, 22? Prabhuji? So all these verses are about now these verses about the Brahma. Now they are fighting. So Brahma along with his other descendants, along with he is appearing on this ocean, and he is requesting actually a lot to kill these demon. So these verses, can somebody read this 22, 21 and 22?
Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
After arriving at the place of combat, Brahma, the leader of the thousands of sages and the transcendentalist, saw the demon who had attained such unprecedented power with no one could fight with him. Brahma then addressed Narayana, who was assuming the form of a boar for the first time.
Yeah. So the Narayana took the form of the boar. So the boar, Brahma is seen for the first time because this is the incarnation happened for the first time and all. Yeah. 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 Can you read 22, 23 also, Prabhuji, quickly?
Yeah.
For the rest of the time.
Lord Brahma said, "My dear Lord, the demon has proved to be a constant pinprick to the demigods, the brahmanas, the cows, and the innocent persons who are spotless and always dependent upon worshipping your lotus feet. He has become a source of fear by unnecessarily harassing them. Since he has attained a boon from me, he has become a demon, always searching for a proper combatant, wandering all over the universe for this infamous purport. There are two classes of living entities. One is called Sura and other or the demigods, and the other is called Asura and the demons. Demons are generally fond of worshipping the demigods, and there are evidences that such worship they get extensive powers for their sense gratification. This later proves to be the cause of trouble for the Brahmanas, demigods, and other innocent living entities. Demigods habitually find fault with the demigods. Demons will habitually find faults with demigods. Brahmanas and innocent to whom they are constant source of fear. The way of demons is to take power from the demigods and then tease these demigods themselves. There is an instance of a great devotee of Lord Shiva who obtained boon from Lord Shiva that the head of whomever he touches with his hand would come off its trunk. As soon as the boon was offered to him, the demon wanted to touch the very head of Lord Shiva. That is their way. The devotees of the Supreme Lord Godhead, Supreme Personality of Godhead, do not, however, ask any favor for sense gratification. Even if they are offered liberation, they refuse it. They are happy simply engaging in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. So here the demigods, brahmanas, and cows and the innocent people are dependent on the worship of the Lord. Okay, they worship on the Lord. So these people are actually since they are following the scriptures, trying to follow the scriptures and trying to worship the Lord, right? So it's about these demons are against these people actually. So that is what we can see this nowadays also. So worship, if we are somebody is good and worshipping the Lord, they automatically become against this demonic persons and all. So the suras and asuras being explained here. Suras and about the asuras being explained. So these asuras always worship the demigods for some boons and all, and once they get this boon, they try to sense gratify and all, sense gratify, and they can cause deceptions even to a demigod and all. I think that the story of Bhasmasur, I believe, being given here, where he tried to take some boons from Lord Shiva and try to then eventually wanted to kill Lord Shiva. Yeah. So the devotees, these demons are compared with the devotees, but devotees are not interested in any kind of the boon, material boons and all. Even though they don't care for the liberation, right? Even they ask if they even do not care for the liberation. They are not interested. They just refuse all kinds of the boon, including the liberation and all. They are just satisfied with the services, transcendental services, rendering these transcendental services to the Lord and the devotees. Yeah, can somebody quickly read 24, Prabhuji? Can we do that? These purports and the translation and purports are small from here. We can complete in next 5 minutes, I believe. Can somebody read the 24? We have only 28, next 5, and it's very small, one liners from the next time now. Can somebody read 24, Prabhuji?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah, Prabhuji.
Lord Brahma continued, by dear Lord, there is no need to play with this serpentine demon, who is always very skilled in conjuring tricks and is arrogant, self-sufficient, and most wicked. Purport. no one is unhappy when a serpent is killed. It is a practice among village boys to eat a serpent by the tail and play with it for some time and then kill it. Similarly, the Lord could have killed the demon at once, but he played with him in the same way as a child plays with a snake before killing it. Brahma requested, however, that since the demon was more weak and undesirable than a serpent, there was no need to play with him. It was his wish that he be killed at once without delay. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Brahma is telling Lord to kill, do not play with him, because Lord already played with him, so he wanted him to immediately kill. Yes, here the serpent example has been given. The child will play with the serpent before killing and all. It's self-explanatory. Can you read 25 also, Prabhuji? All small translations. Yeah.
Okay, Prabhuji. Brahma continued, my dear Lord, you are infallible. Please kill this sinful demon before the demonic hour arrives, and he present another formidable approach favorable to him. You can kill him by your internal potency without doubt.
Yeah, the Brahma is trying to again tell him to kill, because before
Translation.
he takes up some.
My Lord.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, translation. My Lord, the darkest evening, which covers the world, in fast approaching, since you are at the soul of all souls, kindly kill him and win victory for the demigods.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji. Yeah. So 27.
Have you read, Prabhuji? Someone is reading.
Yes. Read.
Okay.
Only translation.
Translation. The auspicious period known as Abhijit, which is most opportune for victory, commenced a midway and has all but passed. Therefore, in the interest of your friends, please dispose of his formidable foe quickly.
So yes, Brahma is saying again to kill, because the time, auspicious time is running out. So he wanted to kill the demon. He did not want the demon to come back with some kind of plan or opportunity actually. So he's requesting Lord to kill actually. Yeah, can you please read the last one, probably?
Okay, translation. This demon, luckily for us, has come to his own accord to you. His death ordained by you, therefore, exhibiting your ways, kill him in the duel and establish the worlds in peace. Purport. The Bhakti Vedanta purport of the third canto, 18th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled The Battle Between Lord Gore and the Demon Hiranyaksha. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji. So it's so all these verses, Brahma is requesting him to kill and to establish the world in the peace. So that is what being explained in the last few purpose and all. So that is what. So next it would be tomorrow. It would be so tomorrow. Praveen Prabhuji will take the other chapter where where the Lord Varadev will kill this demon in the action now. So that's all. So thank you for joining the call, everybody. Thank you for participation. If you have any questions, we can discuss. Questions, comments, suggestions, anything, please. Prabhuji and Mataji. Yeah. Okay, so we have completed this chapter, the battle between the Lord Boar, Lord Varaha, and Demon Hiranyaksha. So, yeah, thank you for the joining this call. Yeah. Thank you, and forgive for anything misread or something I spoken anything wrong. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, thank you so much for the class.
Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
We'll end it here.
Yeah.